What's going on? Good. You doing all right? Good. Hey, how are you? Good. What's going on? You doing good? Good. No, I'm ready. I'm good in the questions.
So I guess, I mean, the biggest question for me is, obviously, every opponent is important. You have this North Carolina game coming up on Tuesday. How do you keep this from being a quote-unquote, a trap game? You're going up against a team that doesn't have the record or the excitement of the North Carolina game. How do you get the team motivated?
We're not, it's just simple communication. We're not in any position to be worried about a trap game. Every game for us is important. Every game in the season is important. And so, I haven't even thought about North Carolina yet, to be honest with you. I haven't watched them. I haven't done anything. I'm just focused on Boston College, and everything around it has been Boston College. So, for us, I think at least I anticipate us firing on all cylinders Saturday, and then after that happens, we'll move on to whatever's next.
Well, what do you expect from Boston College then?
They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. When you just watch them, and you can kind of see, Earl worked for Brad Burnell for a long time, and you can kind of see the carryover from some of the stuff that Clemson does to some of the stuff that they've done. He's been a really good head coach for a long time. They've been in every game. They're right there until it's like, I guess the Duke game would be the one game you said they weren't in, but every other one is right there. And that's just the league this year. Everybody made a big jump. Everybody's a lot better. Of course, records are different, but if you really get down into the nitty gritty, it's one or two possessions go either way, and they could easily be, 500 or, maybe one game over 500. So it'll be a good game.
Coach, what are some of the specifics on the defensive end that you think Boston College does that could present a challenge?
They're big, they're physical. They do a great job of protecting the paint. They do a great job, especially in their ball screen coverages of rotations and getting back in front. The one thing you have to kind of figure out and kind of adjust in the game and kind of see is just ways to open up the court. And get them kind of flattened out because they do a good job with their just help side defense. They're big, they're very disciplined. They don't foul you a lot. You got to kind of create your own fouls. They don't give you any. And so you just got to kind of, it's one of those games where you have to kind of just work it until it kind of opens up for you.
And then with this week kind of serving as a bye week of sorts,
Yep.
how was the week of practice? How do you think the team kind of stayed locked in through what's been the first full week
Yep.
with no games?
Yeah, we're broken up the day a little bit. You know what I mean? So we've tried to make practice on the back end a little bit shorter. So we've done some stuff in the morning. So it's been kind of two-a-days, but not really two-a-days, just to make sure that we aren't killing their bodies. Because my job is to get them as fresh as possible for Saturday, and so that we're firing on all cylinders Saturday, and then we can recoup after that. You know what I mean? So it was just breaking up the day so practices aren't, you know, 2 hours or 145 where we doing 35 minutes 40 minutes in the morning and then doing an hour 15 in the afternoon, so just splitting it up that way.
How is True? Is True Washington, is everything good? He's back?
No, he's not back yet. He's still dealing with some personal stuff, and we're just here to support him. And whenever he's ready to come back and rejoin the team, and whenever he is, able to do that, then we're here.
Is there any kind of, even an estimated time frame?
No,
Such a big part of the team.
yeah, no estimated timetable. Just kind of taking it day by day, and seeing how that kind of comes about and going from there.
Jay, I'm curious your thoughts on kind of with where your team's at. You're right at that ACC midpoint
Yep.
of the week. Just your overall record, kind of with where you're at in the ACC standings, coming down the stretch.
Yep.
NCAA tournament stuff. Just kind of where you guys put the
I
position.
feel we're right where we need to be. You of course you have two one possession losses that could go either way, and you look at it differently. But we've grown from those losses. I feel the team has done a good job throughout the season, just getting better and dealing with adversity. We've won on the road, we've won at home. We've done a lot of different things. So if you told me, what has it been, 10 months, 8 months? I don't know what it's been so far. If you told me 10 months ago that we'll be in the situation where we are, like right now, I think we're at top four, top five, somewhere in there, this is where you want to be. You're competing. Duke has kind of separated themselves from everybody just at this point, but you're still right there, never knowing what happened, where you could compete for a championship and you have yourself in position to compete to play in March. And that's all you can ask at this point of the season.
You touched on your road, specifically your road record, 4-1, just straight road games. What has been the key that you guys have been able to do to, it's tough to win on the road, especially in conference, just in general. What do you think has gone well for you guys?
I think a big part of it was one. It started with the Florida game because that was a road game. No matter if it was in Jacksonville, that was a road game, and then just getting over the hump in Oxford with Ole Miss, it just gives you that confidence. And when you have a new team who's come together for the first time, you have to go through some of those experiences to help you in those moments. And so being able to do that, then coming back at Wake Forest, being able to win there. Going to Syracuse and playing in front of 25,000 or whatever it was. So those moments have just given us confidence that we know we've been there before, we've done it before, so it doesn't feel like anything new or overwhelming.
You mentioned
Today's your 11th-month anniversary.
Okay, thank you. 11 months. There we go.
Fun
uh,
fact.
you mentioned on the ACC call about defense. You felt like defense was holding back things like that. What is it specifically? I know you talked to us about not allowing paint touches.
Yep.
Is that something? Is
Yeah.
there what?
It's that, and that's leading to the fouls. So, I think a big separator in the Cal game was we did our job of getting fouled and shooting 32 free throws and making 23 or 24. Now, in doing that, you can't also give up 32 free throws because then it eliminates something that we take pride in and ways that we separate ourselves on our offensive end. If we're not going to make 10, 11 threes, then we have to offset it by not fouling them, and they are only making or taking, 12 free throws or 11 free throws to our 23. That's how we close the gap. So if we're going to foul like that, and also I think they made like 10 or 11 in the game, it makes the game too close. You know what I mean? It gives them momentum. It gives them stuff down the stretch that kind of keeps the game on a teeter-totter, can go either way.
Coach, speaking on that, when the other team get into foul trouble, does that kind of also be a detriment to this team because you have players stepping up for them, such as DK, too, really big down the stretch for California,
Yep.
that maybe not necessarily are game planning for at the beginning of the game, and they kind of play a big role towards the end because they had the other two bigs that foul out.
Yep.
Does that kind of serve as a detriment then because you don't really know how they attack, how they play the game?
No, honestly, you just never know. You want to always get into people's benches because, just for most people, best players start and play the most minutes. So when you get into the bench, you're having guys in moments and environments and situations they're not accustomed to. And that's kind of what you're trying to do and get to. And credit to him. He had a big tip in. He had a big defensive block on Ernest, and he rose to the occasion. And you want to, go through their first two bigs, you get them out the game. But we shouldn't have even been in that situation if we did our job.
And then speaking on the rotations for Miami coming up, you had this great reset period, but now coming up, it's a lot of games stacked on top of one
Yep.
another. Attrition could play a factor. How do you plan to go about that with the limited roster that you have now with, obviously Marcus out and True as well?
Yeah, got to be a lot smarter with when we sub, how we sub. We got to really be intentional, especially around like the media timeouts. And I'm probably going to have to start burning the timeout earlier than I would like to in the second half, just to make sure we have enough left in the tank for the last 6 minutes to really either put the game away or make a push. So it's just a little bit different game plan, and it's just adapting and adjusting and using situations a little bit differently than we have.
Did you imagine that you would have two freshmen potentially, starting on a team like this? Can you talk about the role that they've played? They've been, Dante's been kind of, a new starter.
Yep.
Shelton all season.
Yeah, no, I've always felt that this could be a possibility, and this could be something that could happen. You just never know. But Dante, ever since the summer and the fall, he's worked his way into being kind of a sixth starter for us. So that wasn't anything too surprising. I think what kind of set Dante back was when he broke his hand. And that kind of slowed down his momentum and his growth. With Shelton, you could see it right away. That was it was like you couldn't even question it. You know what I mean? And yeah, you could see it. And to me, knock on wood, I don't have any wood. Like I felt like he hit his freshman wall early in the season. And now he's starting to come into form, and now he's starting to get his kind of feet under him, and you can kind of see his consistency in his play here recently. But those two guys just have great pedigree, and all they care about is winning and competing. And that's why those two as freshmen and my first two freshmen that I took were so important in building this program.
Coach, February, of course, is a very important month
Yep.
for teams like yourself looking to make a tournament push. What have you learned in years past working with some very prestigious coaches
Yep.
about, I guess, the art of scaling up as the season progresses?
Yeah, it's really a day by day, practice by practice, game by game thing. You got to try to eliminate the big picture. Because in February, a lot more people started to pay attention to college basketball. There's a lot more noise with everything. So, how do we just keep them focused on the process and what's the most important thing in the moment? That's my job. And I feel like if we do that, we'll be able to be fine. And to be honest with you, this is why you play college basketball. You want to play games that matter. You want to be in situations that matter. You want to play in big games. You want to go on the road and, have to win and come back and protect your house. So this is exciting. This is what it's all about, honestly.
Got time for a couple more?
You spoke on Shelton and Dante, and there's also some new young talent coming in next year.
Yep.
Earlier this week, Caleb Gaskins named to the Dallas All-American game. Have you been in contact with him recently, or just like any words you should say about him?
Yeah, no, we're over the moon excited about Caleb just being in the program. Not only because one, he is a really good player, but two, just he fits what we're about. He fits what I'm about, and just winning state championships, competing at a high level, gold medals, USA basketball. Those things matter when you bring people into the program because they come with a certain humility, but also a certain competitiveness and character when it comes to winning. So that's the one thing I love about Caleb is he brings all that, and then once you meet him and get to know him, he's an even better person and young man.
I want to ask, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to talk to you before, are we going to talk to you
Yeah.
before North Carolina
Yeah,
game? We are,
we'll
okay,
do
so
Monday.
never mind.
No.
No more North Carolina, and I won't be worried.
Yeah, I hope not.
I wore it today to get it out of the way.
Chris, that wraps up.
Yeah, just with Malik, what he's given you all season long. I know before the year started, high hopes for him, but just what he's given you guys, your team, can you put into words?
I mean, not really. He's been great. And I'm glad he's getting at least a little bit of recognition by making Karl Malone? The Karl Malone list. I mean, it just shows you one, just his growth he's made this year, and it also just goes to show that you can go somewhere else and kind of reinvent yourself, and you can become someone else. And he's been able to do that, but you also have to be willing to change. And that's the one thing I give Malik credit for. He's given me the opportunity from the beginning to coach him, to hold him accountable, to put him in a new position, to put him in situations that he's not always necessarily comfortable with, but to trust me to put him in those situations. And I think he's really just grown in those moments. And you can tell by his number, but also just his voice. He's come out of shell. He's naturally laid back, quiet. I know y'all have been up here with him, but now he's starting to lead and starting to command the locker room and command the team, which is, as a senior, that's all you can ask for.
If I could follow with that, senior Trey, Ernest, you talked about those three
Yep.
in particular. Are you sensing more, and maybe it goes to what he was saying about February?
Yep.
Those three guys in particular with their experience, are you kind of lean on them?
Exactly. Yep. These moments, and also on the road, they've been huge and just settling everybody down. But that's why you always want that experience. But also the experience come with kind of, I always say, the pedigree. Like Trey's been a Big Ten champion, Big Ten Conference championship in the tournament. Ernest played at Kansas. So that's all basketball. So the importance of winning there. Same thing I'll say about Malik, although they didn't win to some high level, but he's at Indiana. And I've been at Blue Blood, so I understand what basketball means and how important the games are. So being in those environments, you have an understanding of what it means to win. So that's part of their pedigree and coming here and being able to help in these moments when we need them the most.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Run the left.